press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Hello children, subject social science, topic the culture of Vedic period. The new lesson number 5, the culture of the Vedic period. Okay, class 6th. In this class, we study about post-Vedic period. Understood? Political changes of the post-Vedic period, and then social changes, and then epics also studied, discussed in this class. Okay. In previous class, we studied about pre-Vedic period, isn't it? We learned about social life of pre-Vedic period, the position of women, economic life, political life, isn't it? These all aspects we already learned about in previous class. Okay. We already learned what is the pre-Vedic period. It means what, children? The period for Rig Veda, isn't it? The word Veda means what? Knowledge. There are 4 Vedas, Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda and Atharvana Veda, isn't it? What is the meaning of pre-Vedic period? Pre-Vedic period means, children, the period for Rig Veda is called pre-Vedic period. Once again, I will repeat. The period for Rig Veda is called pre-Vedic period. Understood? And what is post-Vedic period? It means the period of the other Vedas. Other Vedas means which Vedas, children? Yajur Veda, Sama Veda and Atharvana Veda. Okay. The period of the other Vedas is called post-Vedic period. Understood? In this class, we study about post-Vedic period. Okay, children? Listen here. The other 3 Vedas will be considered as the post-Vedic period. Understood? Hundreds of years passed. The population grew in the area of Sapta Sindhu. The area of Sapta Sindhu. The population increased. There were changes in the lifestyles and lifestyles of the people. So there were limited. Understood? The population increased. There were changes in lifestyles of the people. So there were limited population. Okay. During the early Vedic period, now there is a change in the society. Society is dynamic, children, isn't it? It will be changing in the same way. Post-Vedic period, so many changes took place in the life of the people. Understood? In the post-Vedic period, so many changes took place in the life of the people. One means the meta in search, they went in search of the fertile land. So they migrate one place to another place. Migrate means what, children? Moving one place to another place. Okay. The people moved from place to place of Ganga, Yamuna, and even they crossed the mountain regions of Vindhyas. The people moved from place of Ganga. The people moved from plains of Ganga, Yamuna and mountain range of Vindhyas. Once again, children, see here, society is dynamic. It will be changing in the same way post-Vedic period. So many changes took place in the life of the people. Post-Vedic period. Okay. Why means they went to in search of the fertile land. That's why the people moved from plain of Ganga and plains of Ganga, Yamuna, and some of them even crossed the mountain ranges of Vindhyas. Understood? And migrated towards the south. They were coming up to south. Okay. ಅಂದರೆ ಉತ್ತರ ವೇದ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ, ಅಂದರೆ ನಾವು ಈಗ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಪೂರ್ವ ವೇದ ಕಾಲದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಪೂರ್ವ ವೇದ ಕಾಲದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಋಗ್ವೇದ ಕಾಲವನ್ನು ಏನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ? ಪೂರ್ವ ವೇದ ಕಾಲ ಎಂದು ಕರೆಯುತ್ತೇವೆ. ಅದೇ ಅನಂತರದ ವೇದಗಳ ಕಾಲವನ್ನು ನಾವು ಏನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ? ಉತ್ತರ ವೇದ ಕಾಲ ಎಂದು ಕರೆಯಲಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ನಾವಿವಾಗ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು ಉತ್ತರ ವೇದ ಕಾಲದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ. ಈ ಶತಮಾನಗಳು ಉರುಳಿದಂತೆ ಸಪ್ತ ಸಿಂಧೂ ಪ್ರದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಜನಸಂಖ್ಯೆ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಯಿತು? ಬೆಳೀತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಪೂರ್ವ ವೇದ ಕಾಲಕ್ಕೂ ಮತ್ತೆ ನಾವು ಉತ್ತರ ವೇದ ಕಾಲಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಹೋಲಿಕೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ತುಂಬ ವ್ಯತ್ಯಾಸಗಳನ್ನು ನಾವಿಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಬಹುದು. ಅಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಜನಸಂಖ್ಯೆ ಬೆಳೀತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ಜನರ ಜೀವನ ಕ್ರಮ ಕೂಡ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? ಜನರ ಜೀವನ ಕ್ರಮದಲ್ಲಿಯೂ ಕೂಡ ಬದಲಾವಣೆಗಳನ್ನು ನಾವಿಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಬಹುದು. ವೇದಕಾಲದ ಜನರು ಹಂತ ಹಂತವಾಗಿ ಅವರು ಗಂಗಾ, ಯಮುನಾ, ಅಂದರೆ ಫಲವತ್ತಾದ ಭೂಮಿಯನ್ನು ಹುಡುಕೊಂತ ಅವ್ರು ಎಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ? ಗಂಗಾ, ಯಮುನಾ ನದಿ ದಡದ ಮೇಲೆ ಕೂಡ ಅವರು ನದಿ ಬಯಲಿಗೆ ವಲಸೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದೆನ್ ಕೆಲವರು ವಿಂಧ್ಯ ಪರ್ವತ ಶ್ರೇಣಿಗಳನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ದಾಟಿ ದಕ್ಷಿಣಕ್ಕೆ ಅವರು ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, children, now we study about political changes of the post-Vedic period people. Okay, see here, what are the political changes that took place in the post-Vedic period? See here, children, the king was very powerful. The king became very powerful here, children. The king became very powerful. King became very powerful. The position of Vidhata was completely diminished and are decreased. The position of Vidhata was completely, what happened? Decreased. Understood? Lost its importance. Vidhata lost its importance. Vidhata was not at all considered by the king. Even Sabha and Samiti also lost their importance during that period, children. Okay, because the king became very powerful. He became dictator. Understood? King stopped listening to the other people or suggestions of the members of the Sabha and Samiti. The kingship became hereditary. The kingship became hereditary. The kingship became hereditary. See here, children, once again the king became, now we discussed here political changes of the post-Vedic period. Okay, here we see the king was very powerful. He became very powerful. The position of Vidhata was completely decreased. Lost its importance. Okay, Vidhata was not at all considered by the king. Even Sabha and Samiti also lost their importance. The kingship became hereditary, children. Father was hereditary means what? Vamsha parampare anta helti. Okay, it means the father was king and next his son will be king. Next his son will be king. Understood? Became the king. So in this way the kingship became hereditary. But in the pre-Vedic period this was not position. Here we see lot of changes, isn't it? The king performed rituals like Ashwamedha Yaga. He performed rituals like Ashwamedha Yaga. Ashwamedha Yaga. and another one is Rajasuya Yaga. Rajasuya Yaga. Who conducted these yagas? The king conducted or performed rituals like Ashwamedha Yaga and Rajasuya Yaga. Expand his kingdom. Understood? The king performed rituals like Ashwamedha Yaga and Rajasuya Yaga to expand his kingdom. In order to expand the kingdom, next he conducted very complicated. These yagas were mentioned in our epics Mahabharata and Ramayana. Understood? You will come across these yagas. Okay. Next we study about social life of the post-Vedic period people. Okay. Now what were the social changes during this period, children? Gotra system. Here we see Gotra system started in social life. Gotra system. We see here Gotra system started. During this post-Vedic period, means the people will come from the origin of some rishis. Even today, if you observe the people, children, in the society, we say about our Gotra, isn't it? We say that we are inherited from the family of the ancient rishis, isn't it? This Gotra system started during this period. So Gotra system started during this post-Vedic period, children. Here we see the 4 ashramas. How many ashramas? 4 ashramas. Social life. In this society, Gotra system started. Okay. Next we see here 4 ashramas. 4 ashramas. Which are these? These were Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha and Sannyasashrama. Okay, once again I will repeat here, children. Here during this period, post-Vedic period, we see here a 4 ashramas system came into the existence in that society. These are Brahmacharya, Brahmacharya, second one Grihastha, okay. Third one Vanaprastha, Vanaprastha. Fourth one Sannyasashrama. Fourth one Sannyasa. Okay, these were the 4 ashramas during that period, children. First one is Brahmacharya ashrama. Second one is Grihastha ashrama. Third one is Vanaprastha ashrama. Fourth one is Sannyasashrama. These were the 4 ashramas during that period, children. Okay, see here. First one is sannyasa started during that period. Brahmacharya means what? First ashrama was Brahmacharya ashrama. Okay, what is the meaning of that? Early ages or childhood. In Brahmacharya, early ages or childhood days, they were the students in the society. Understood? They attain the knowledge. Here we see childhood. Okay, early ages are childhood days. There were the students in the society. They attained the knowledge of Veda. Okay, they were very particular in getting knowledge, in getting the education. Getting education was the main motto during this period. Getting the education is main motto during this period, children. First stage of the life was Brahmacharya Ashrama. Okay, next the Grihastha. Second one is the Grihastha means getting married. In this period, people get married. Okay, the people were entering in the Grihastha or the family life. He entered his family life in Grihastha. Means getting married. Okay, they were married. Then to take care of the wife, children, there was a family system. Grihastha means there was a family system. Okay, children, once again I will repeat here. Here we study about 4 ashramas. First one is Brahmacharya Ashrama, second one is Grihastha Ashrama, third one is Vanaprastha Ashrama, fourth one is Sannyasa Ashrama. Okay, what is the meaning of Brahmacharya? Here we see early ages are childhood days. These were the early age or childhood days, children. They were the students in the society. They attained the knowledge of Vedas. Understood? They attained the knowledge of Veda. They were very particular in getting the education. Getting education was the main motto of this period, children. First stage of the life. Okay. Next one is the Grihastha Ashrama. Grihastha Ashrama means, children, there was a family system. Okay. Here the man entered the family. The man entered or getting married. Okay. People were entered in the Grihastha Ashrama or the family life. Third one is Vanaprastha Ashrama. In Vanaprastha Ashrama, renouncing the people, renouncing everything, desires, okay, and then going to the forest. Forget about all the friendly attachment. He thought only about God, meditation, prayer. Understood? He think about only God and the people. After getting age, they were going to the forest in Vanaprastha Ashrama. He is going for a pilgrimage, renouncing the worldly life, desire. Understood, children? Last stage was Sannyasa Ashrama. Sannyasa Ashrama, completely people were indulging themselves in the religious practices, tapas, etc. They did tapas, okay, in this period. Okay, so therefore, here we see 4 ashramas were Brahmacharya, Grihastha Ashrama, Vanaprastha Ashrama, and last one is Sannyasa Ashrama. Okay, these were based according to the age of the people. The position of women was lowered during that period. The position of women, that is lower, that was lowered, children. Lot of changes took place from the pre-Vedic period to post-Vedic period. Here we see in post-Vedic period, the women lost her respect. Understood? Women was lowered. Okay. Women had a very good position in the pre-Vedic period. But here what happened, children? She lost her position during the post-Vedic period. Understood? She lost her position. It was lowered. Okay. Women were deprived of education. Deprived means what, children? ವಂಚಿತರಾಗುವುದು. ಅವರಿಗೆ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಕೂಡ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ ಈ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ. Women were deprived of education. She did not get to right to get the education, and even kept away from the political institutions like Sabha, Samiti, Vidhata. Understood, children? Women were not allowed to participate in the political institutions or administration during post-Vedic period. The Varna system. came into existence during that period, children. Very important change place in the social system during post-Vedic period. Okay, which was inclusive of our four varnas. Here also we see four varnas. Caste system came into existence. That is Brahmana, Kshatriya, Varna system existed. Varna system. Here also we see four varnas. First one is Brahmana, Brahmanas, Kshatriya. Third one is Vaishya. Last, fourth one is Shudras. Okay, the caste system existed during that period, children. See here, the four varnas existed in that society. These were Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and last one is Shudras. Here we see four varnas. Okay, these varnas were made in order to discharge different occupations, children, because all occupations, some are specialized, some occupations were jobs, knowledge also, knowledge. So varnas were made not to discrimination here. Discrimination the people at the basis of the caste, but to discharge their duty according to their knowledge. Okay, and education. Brahmanas, they were very interested in learning Vedas. Brahmanas, they were much more interested in the learning of Vedas. Okay, very much interested in learning of Vedas and imparting knowledge with others, and conducted the religious yagas, yagnas and other things. Brahmanas, they were very interested in the learning Vedas. They conducted the religious yagnas, yagas and many other things during that period. Okay, see here, they were in charge of the religious institutions. Brahmanas were in charge of the religious institutions in the society. Next varna, Kshatriyas. Okay, Kshatriyas were waging wars. They were waging wars. They were helping the king in waging the wars. Next, Vaishyas. They were indulged in commercial and trade activities. They were businessmen. Next, last one is Shudras. They were at the lowest strata, that means they indulged in other occupations. Okay, other than the religion, other than the waging war, commerce and trade, the other occupations were looked after the Shudra by the Shudras. Okay, children, these were the four varnas during that period: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudras. Okay, during that period, caste system was existed. Next, child marriage and sati system started during this period. Child marriage and sati system. Sati system and child marriage. Child marriage. Child marriage. Sati system started during that period, children. When we look at the picture, pre-Vedic period, in post-Vedic period, there has been lot of changes, isn't it? Child marriage and sati system, which are considered as the social evils, again started in post-Vedic period. Next, polygamy system started during that period. Polygamy means what, children? Bahu patnitva. Polygamy. Polygamy. Okay. Polygamy means Bahu patnitva. One man marrying more than one woman. Understood? Bahu patnitva. One man marrying more than one woman. Okay. This was started among the aristocratic people. Aristocratic people means rich people. For example, king. Okay. Or royal families. People who were in the higher strata of the social status, including the king also. Next, you come across many stories in history, and that king used to marry so many women. So many women, our polygamy was in practice during that period, children. Okay, it means ನಾವು ಇವಾಗ ಉತ್ತರ ವೇದ ಕಾಲದ ರಾಜಕೀಯ ಇತಿಹಾಸದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಸಾಮಾಜಿಕ ಬದಲಾವಣೆಗಳನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ನಾವು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ರಾಜಕೀಯ ಬದಲಾವಣೆಗಳು ನಾವು ಉತ್ತರ ವೇದ ಕಾಲ ಮತ್ತು ಪೂರ್ವ ವೇದ ಕಾಲ ಮತ್ತೆ ಉತ್ತರ ವೇದ ಕಾಲದ ನಡುವೆ ವ್ಯತ್ಯಾಸವನ್ನ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಲಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಚೇಂಜಸ್. ಉತ್ತರ ವೇದ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಅನೇಕ ಬದಲಾವಣೆಗಳನ್ನು ನಾವು ನೋಡಬಹುದು. ರಾಜಕೀಯವಾಗಿಯೂ ಕೂಡ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅನೇಕ ಬದಲಾವಣೆಗಳು ಆಗ್ತವೆ. ಉತ್ತರ ವೇದಗಳ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ರಾಜನು ಬಲಿಷ್ಠನಾಗ್ತಾನೆ, ಆದರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪೂರ್ವ ವೇದ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ರಾಜ ಹೇಗಿರ್ತಾನವನು ಅಂದರೆ ಅವನು ಸರ್ವಾಧಿಕಾರಿಯಾಗಿ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಆದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲೇನಾಗ್ತಾನೆ, ಉತ್ತರ ವೇದ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ರಾಜ ಸರ್ವಾಧಿಕಾರಿ ಆಗ್ತಾನೆ, ಡಿಕ್ಟೇಟರ್ ಆಗ್ತಾನೆ, ಅವನು ತುಂಬ ಪವರ್ಫುಲ್, ಬಲಿಷ್ಠನಾಗ್ತಾನೆ. ವಿಧಾತ ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣವಾಗಿ ಕಣ್ಮರೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ರಾಜನಿಗೆ ಆಡಳಿತದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಲಹೆಯನ್ನು ನೀಡೋಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಅಥವಾ ಸಹಾಯವನ್ನು ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ನಾವು ಪ್ರೀವೇದಿಕ್ ಪೀರಿಯಡಲ್ಲಿ ವಿಧಾತ, ಸಭಾ, ಸಮಿತಿಗಳನ್ನು ಅವರು ರಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿದರು ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಆದರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ರಾಜ ಅವರನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಅವರ ಸಲಹೆಗಳನ್ನು, ಆ ಸಮಿತಿ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಸಭಾ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ವಿಧಾತ, ಆ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಗಳ ಮೆಂಬರ್ಗಳ ಅಂದರೆ ಪ್ರತಿನಿಧಿಗಳ ಸಲಹೆಯನ್ನು ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಂಡು ಅವನು ಅಂತಿಮ ನಿರ್ಧಾರವನ್ನು ರಾಜ ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಆದರೆ ಉತ್ತರ ವೇದ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಮೂರೂ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಗಳು ಏನಾಗ್ತವೆ, ತಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರಾಮುಖ್ಯತೆಯನ್ನು, ತಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರಾಬಲ್ಯತೆಯನ್ನು ನಾವು ಕಳ್ಕೊಳ್ತವೆ. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ರಾಜ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗಿಂತಲೂ ಬಲಿಷ್ಠನಾಗಿರ್ತಾನೆ. ಯಾರದೇ ಅಭಿಪ್ರಾಯವನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಇವನು ಪಡೆಯೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ, ಇವನು ಸರ್ವಾಧಿಕಾರಿಯಾಗಿ ಇರ್ತಾನೆ. ಸಭಾ ಮತ್ತು ಸಮಿತಿಗಳು ಕೂಡ ತಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರಾಮುಖ್ಯತೆಯನ್ನು ಈ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಳೆದುಕೊಳ್ತವೆ. ರಾಜನು ತನ್ನ ರಾಜ್ಯದ ವ್ಯಾಪ್ತಿಯನ್ನ ವಿಸ್ತರಿಸಿಕೊಳ್ಳಲು ಅವನು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದ, ರಾಜತ್ವವು ವಿಸ್ತರಿಸಿಕೊಳ್ಳಲಾರ ಅಂದರೆ ಅವನ ರಾಜತ್ವವನ್ನ ಅಂದರೆ ತನ್ನ ಸಾಮ್ರಾಜ್ಯವನ್ನ ಅವನು ವಿಸ್ತಾರ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ. ರಾಜತ್ವವು ಕೂಡ ವಂಶ ಪಾರಂಪರೆಯಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ತಂದೆ ಸತ್ತ ನಂತರ ಅವನ ಮಗನೇ ರಾಜನಾಗಬೇಕು, ಅವನ ನಂತರ ಅವನ ಮಗ, ಅವನ ನಂತರ ಅವನ ಮಗನೇ ಆಡಳಿತವನ್ನ ನಡೆಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದ. ಈ ಪರಂಪರೆಯನ್ನು ನಾವೇನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, ವಂಶ ಪಾರಂಪರೆ ಅಥವಾ ಹೆರಿಡಿಟರಿ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಓಕೆ, ರಾಜನು ರಾಜ್ಯ ವಿಸ್ತರಣೆಗಾಗಿ ಅಶ್ವಮೇಧ ಯಾಗವನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದ. ರಾಜಸೂಯ ಯಾಗಗಳನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದ. ಯಾಕೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದ? ತನ್ನ ರಾಜ್ಯವನ್ನ ವಿಸ್ತರಣೆ ಮಾಡುವುದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಈ ಯಾಗಗಳನ್ನು ಅವನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದ. ಮೊದಲಾದ ಯಾಗಗಳನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ರಾಜ ಮಾಡಲು ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, ಸಾಮಾಜಿಕ ಬದಲಾವಣೆಗಳು, ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ ಚೇಂಜಸ್. ಯಾವ ಬದಲಾವಣೆಗಳು ಈ ಸಮಾಜದಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗ್ತವೆ? ಉತ್ತರ ವೇದ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಗೋತ್ರ ಪದ್ಧತಿ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಚರ್ಯ, ಗೃಹಸ್ಥ, ವಾನಪ್ರಸ್ಥ ಮತ್ತು ಸನ್ಯಾಸ ಎಂಬ 4 ಆಶ್ರಮಗಳ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆ ಕೂಡ ಆರಂಭ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಚರ್ಯಾಶ್ರಮ ಅಂದರೆ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ಹುಡ್ ಡೇಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಬಾಲ್ಯ ಜೀವನವನ್ನು ನಾವು ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಚರ್ಯಾಶ್ರಮ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಈ ಅವಧಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮಗು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ವೇದಗಳನ್ನು ಕಲಿಯಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ವೇದಗಳನ್ನು, ಜ್ಞಾನವನ್ನು ಪಡೆಯುವಂತಹ ಅವಧಿ ಯಾವುದು? ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಚರ್ಯಾಶ್ರಮ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಯಾವುದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವ್ರು ಕಾಲಿಡ್ತಾರೆ? ಗೃಹಸ್ಥಾಶ್ರಮ. ಅಂದರೆ ಇದು ಕುಟುಂಬ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆಯನ್ನು, ಅಂದರೆ ಅವನು ಮದುವೆ ಆಗುವ ಮೂಲಕ ಗೃಹಸ್ಥಾಶ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಕಾಲಿಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಒಬ್ಬ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಚರ್ಯಾಶ್ರಮವನ್ನು ಮುಗಿಸಿ ನಂತರ ಎಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಕಾಲಿಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾನೆ? ಗೃಹಸ್ಥಾಶ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂದರೆ ತನ್ನ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಹೆಂಡತಿ ಇವುಗಳನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಅವರನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಸಾಕ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತಾನೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಗೃಹಸ್ಥ ಕುಟುಂಬ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆಗೆ ಅವನು ಒಳಗಾಗ್ತಾನೆ. ಓಕೆ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ವಾನಪ್ರಸ್ಥಾಶ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಅವನು ಕಾಲಿಡ್ತಾನೆ. ವಾನಪ್ರಸ್ಥ ಅಂದರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಸೆಗಳನ್ನು ಬಿಟ್ಟು ತೀರ್ಥಯಾತ್ರೆಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾಡುವುದು, ಅಂದರೆ ದೇವರ ಧ್ಯಾನದಲ್ಲಿ ಕುಳಿತುಕೊಳ್ಳುವುದು. ಈ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಅವನು ವಾನಪ್ರಸ್ಥಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಕಾಡಿಗೆ ಅವನು ಹೋಗ್ತಾನೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಸನ್ಯಾಸತ್ವವನ್ನು ಸ್ವೀಕರಿಸ್ತಾನೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಸೆಗಳನ್ನು ಹೊರತುಪಡಿಸಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಸೆಗಳನ್ನು ಅವನು ತ್ಯಜಿಸಿ ಸನ್ಯಾಸವನ್ನು ಅವನು ಸ್ವೀಕರಿಸ್ತಾನೆ. ಹೀಗೆ ಒಬ್ಬ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ 4 ಸ್ಟೇಜನ್ನು ಹಂತ ಹಂತವಾಗಿ ತನ್ನ ಜೀವನವನ್ನು ಅವನು ಸಾಗಿಸ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತಾನೆ. ಮೊದಲು ಅವನು ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಚರ್ಯಾವಸ್ಥೆಯನ್ನು ಮುಗಿಸ್ತಾನೆ, ನಂತರ ಗೃಹಸ್ಥಕ್ಕೆ ಕಾಲಿಡ್ತಾನೆ, ನಂತರ ವಾನಪ್ರಸ್ಥ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದೆನ್ ಸನ್ಯಾಸತ್ವವನ್ನು ಅವನು ಸ್ವೀಕರಿಸ್ತಾನೆ. ಹೀಗೆ 4 ಆಶ್ರಮಗಳ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆಯೂ ಕೂಡ ಆ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ತ್ರೀಯರ ಸ್ಥಾನಮಾನದಲ್ಲಿ ಭಾರಿ ಕುಸಿತ ಉಂಟಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ನಾವು ಹಿಂದಿನ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೀವೇದಿಕ್ ಪೀರಿಯಡಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದರೆ, ಪೂರ್ವ ವೇದ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ತ್ರೀಯರಿಗೆ ತುಂಬ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಸ್ಥಾನಮಾನವನ್ನು ಕೊಡಲಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ರೆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟನ್ನು ಕೊಡಲಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಗೌರವವನ್ನು ಕೊಡಲಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಎಲ್ಲ ರಂಗದಲ್ಲಿಯೂ ಕೂಡ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಪಾಲ್ಗೊಳ್ಳಲು ಅವಕಾಶ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಅವರು ಶಿಕ್ಷಣವನ್ನು ಪಡಿಬಹುದಿತ್ತು, ಮತ್ತು ರಾಜಕೀಯ ಸಂಘ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ಭಾಗವಹಿಸಬಹುದಿತ್ತು. ಎಲ್ಲ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿಯೂ ಕೂಡ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಗೌರವವನ್ನು ಕೊಡಲಾಗಿತ್ತು ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಪೂರ್ವ ವೇದ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ಪ್ರೀವೇದಿಕ್ ಪೀರಿಯಡಲ್ಲಿ. ಬಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಪೋಸ್ಟ್ ವೇದಿಕ್ ಪೀರಿಯಡಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ತ್ರೀಯರ ಸ್ಥಾನಮಾನ ತುಂಬನೇ ಕುಸಿದು ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸ್ತ್ರೀಯರು ಶಿಕ್ಷಣದಿಂದ ವಂಚಿತರಾಗ್ತಾರೆ, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದೆನ್ ರಾಜಕೀಯ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಗಳಿಂದ ಅವರನ್ನು ದೂರ ಇಡಲಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಅವರು ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣವಾಗಿ ಅವರ ಸ್ಥಾನಮಾನವನ್ನು ಈ ಪೀರಿಯಡಲ್ಲಿ, ಈ ಕಾಲಾವಧಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ಕಳೆದುಕೊಳ್ತಾರೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬ್ರಾಹ್ಮಣ, ಕ್ಷತ್ರಿಯ, ವೈಶ್ಯ ಮತ್ತು ಶೂದ್ರ ಎಂಬ 4 ವರ್ಣ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆ ಕೂಡ ಸಮಾಜದಲ್ಲಿ ತಲೆ ಎತ್ತುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾತಿ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆಯನ್ನು ಮಾಡುವುದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಈ ರೀತಿ ವರ್ಣ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆಯನ್ನು ಜಾರಿ ತರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಅಂದರೆ ಅವರು ಯಾವ ವೃತ್ತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಪುಣರಾಗಿರುತ್ತಾರೆ ಅದರ ಆಧಾರದ ಮೇಲೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ವಿಂಗಡಣೆಯನ್ನು ಮಾಡಲಾಗ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು. ಬ್ರಾಹ್ಮಣರು ಅಂದರೆ ಅವರು ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಮಂತ್ರಗಳನ್ನು ಪಠಿಸುವುದರಲ್ಲಿ, ವೇದಗಳನ್ನು ಪಠಿಸುವುದರಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಆಸಕ್ತಿಯನ್ನು ಹೊಂದಿದ್ರು. ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ ಬ್ರಾಹ್ಮಣ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆ ಹುಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತೆ. ಕ್ಷತ್ರಿಯರು ಅವರು ರಾಜನಿಗೆ ಯುದ್ಧ ಮಾಡುವುದರಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ಸಹಾಯವನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು, ಶೂರರು ಅಂತಲೂ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ವೈಶ್ಯರು ಅಂದರೆ ಅವರು ವ್ಯಾಪಾರ ಸಂಬಂಧವನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು, ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ಸನ್ನು ಅವರು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಶೂದ್ರರು ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಹೊರತುಪಡಿಸಿ ಉಳಿದಂತಹ ಕೆಲಸಗಳನ್ನು ಶೂದ್ರ ವರ್ಗದವರು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಈ ರೀತಿ ಆಗಿನ ಸಮಾಜದಲ್ಲಿ 4 ವರ್ಣಗಳು ತಲೆ ಎತ್ತುತ್ತವೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ವರ್ಣ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆ ಸಮಾಜದಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾರಿಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಸತಿ ಸಹಗಮನ ಪದ್ಧತಿ ಇರಬಹುದು. ಬಾಲ್ಯ ವಿವಾಹಗಳು ಪೂರ್ವ ವೇದ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ನೋಡೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅಂದರೆ ಆ ಪದ್ಧತಿಗಳನ್ನು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಖಂಡಿಸಲಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಸತಿ ಪದ್ಧತಿಯನ್ನು ಆಚರಿಸೋ ಹಾಗಿರೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಾಲ್ಯ ವಿವಾಹಗಳನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಖಂಡಿಸಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಆದರೆ ಉತ್ತರ ವೇದ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ, ಪೋಸ್ಟ್ ವೇದಿಕ್ ಪೀರಿಯಡಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಎಲ್ಲ ಅನಿಷ್ಟ ಪದ್ಧತಿಗಳು ತಲೆ ಎತ್ತುತ್ತವೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ಸತಿ ಸಹಗಮನ ಪದ್ಧತಿ ಜಾರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸತಿ ಸಹಗಮನ ಪದ್ಧತಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಗಂಡ ಸತ್ತ ಚಿತೆಯಲ್ಲೇ ಅವನ ಜೊತೆಯಲ್ಲೇ ಜೀವಂತವಾಗಿ ಹೆಂಡತಿಯನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು, ಸುಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಸತಿ ಸಹಗಮನ ಪದ್ಧತಿ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. ಈ ಅನಿಷ್ಟ ಪದ್ಧತಿ ಆವಾಗಿನ ಸಮಾಜದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಉತ್ತರ ವೇದ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬಾಲ್ಯ ವಿವಾಹಗಳು, ಸಣ್ಣ ಬಾಲ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿಯೇ ಸಣ್ಣ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು, ವಿವಾಹವನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಈ ಅನಿಷ್ಟ ಪದ್ಧತಿಗಳು ಆ ಉತ್ತರ ಪೋಸ್ಟ್ ವೇದಿಕ್ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ ಆಗ್ತವೆ. ರಾಜಶಾಹಿಯ ಮೊದಲಾದ ಉನ್ನತ ವರ್ಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಬಹುಪತ್ನಿತ್ವ ರೂಢಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇತ್ತು. ಬಹುಪತ್ನಿತ್ವ, ಒಬ್ಬ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಒಂದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಪತ್ನಿಯರನ್ನ ಹೊಂದಿರುವಂತಹ ಅವಕಾಶ ಕೂಡ ಆವಾಗ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ಒಬ್ಬ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ರಿಚ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಇರಬಹುದು, ಕಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಇರಬಹುದು, ರಾಜರುಗಳು ಇರಬಹುದು, ಇವರೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂಡ ಒಂದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಪತ್ನಿಯರನ್ನ ಹೊಂದುತ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಇದನ್ನು ನಾವೇನಂತ ಕರಿತೇವೆ, ಪಾಲಿಗಮಿ ಅಥವಾ ಬಹುಪತ್ನಿತ್ವ ಎಂದು ಕರೆಯುತ್ತೇವೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ವಿ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಅಬೌಟ್ ರಿಲಿಜಿಯಸ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಆಫ್ ಡ್ಯೂರಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಚಿಲ್ಡ್ರನ್, ರಿಲಿಜಿಯಸ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಆಫ್ ಪೋಸ್ಟ್ ವೇದಿಕ್ period. Okay, common people in the society could not understanding about religion. It became very complicated. Understood? Common people, they could not understand the religion. Okay, it became very complicated for the common people. Again, and people were doing yagas and yagnas. Okay, you observed yagas and yagnas in many temples, and during the pujas or marriage and many religion ceremonies, people will conducted yagnas and yagas. Okay, even today we do in order to please the God. What we will do, children? We offered milk, ghee, cereals. What happened during this period? People began to indulging so many yagas and yagnas. They went on offering milk, cereals to the fire. This resulted in the storage of the food, in the shortage of the food. Okay. Next, whatever would be consumed by the people, it was used for the yagnas and yagas. For example, milk, ghee and cereals. Okay. Next, Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva were considered as major gods. Important gods, Srishti, Stuti, Laya. Okay, even today we worshipped these gods, isn't it? Along with them, goddesses Lakshmi, Saraswati, Parvati and also Ganesha. Skanda, Subramanya. Skanda means Subramanya or Ganesha's brother. Okay. And other family deities got importance during that period. Okay. Even today each and every family have god or goddesses. Once again children, see here, religious ceremonies became complicated. Okay, the yagas and yagnas were done frequently, offering milk, ghee and cereals to the fire. During these yagnas led to the shortage of food. Brahmana, Vishnu and Shiva were considered as the major gods along with them. Okay, goddesses like Lakshmi, Saraswati, goddess Parvati and also Ganesha, Skanda and other family deities got importance. Understood? Next one is epics. Epics means children, Mahakavyagalu anta heltare. Okay. Religious books were entered during this period. Valmiki wrote Ramayana. Valmiki wrote Ramayana and Vyasa wrote Mahabharata. Okay, these two are considered as very popular epics among the Indians. Even today we consider it has the sacred books are the epics. Okay, these two epics guided the life and art of Indians' life. Okay. Once again, see here children, new words, sati system. To enter into the fire along with the dead body of the husband is called sati system. Next, offering milk, ghee, cereals, etc. put into the fire during the ceremony of yagna. Okay. Thank you children.